Day 2, Resinize. I've done step 1, which is the paint or the color part. 2 is the matte finish. Haven't put that down yet. Anyway, this was sanded down. The sink was a hideous 70s orange reflect, fake marble look. Anyway, sanded it down, used acetone and alcohol to clean it really well. It said 1 coat should be good unless it's a dark surface. This wasn't even a dark surface, but it really needed 2. I used a foam brush instead of a roller because the roller wasn't going to work very well, especially in the bowl. I used one of these. Left brush marks. It's very uneven, and apparently there's a lot of grit feel, like little bits of particles here and there. I see them, like sand or whatever. Sink fared even worse. It's almost as if it rolled. And then I don't know what was going on here. This is the only part that never completely covered up. It's like something penetrated into the finish over the years, because these are about 40 years old probably. So anyway, this is how far it's gone so far. Gonna put the resin on today, let that cure, and in a nutshell, as usual, it's too good to be true. This looks like shit. Certainly not like what you'd think it would look like, but maybe I did it wrong, although I did follow the instructions. Step 2 with the resin. Part A, when I opened it up, the liquid part was on the top and the whole thing was like a big disc, but it was eventually broken up and I mixed it for a lot longer than a minute. But it looks like, I don't think it's supposed to have those chunks in there, so this is probably going to go about as good as the last part from part A. This stuff is going on like cottage cheese. I'm having to brush back and forth many times just to get these lumps smoothed out mostly. Although some places it's just too hard, so it's looking really bad. Okay, there was only enough to really do 1 coat, although I did manage to get enough to do the sink twice. Being the only bathroom, it's very hard. They suggest to keep the door shut and closed off wherever you're doing this, if you're doing a sink or a tub or something instead of a piece of furniture or whatever you're doing, that to minimize the amount of dust, because as long as this is wet like this is, the dust, or in this case pet hairs, cat hairs, and dust and everything else is falling on here and becoming embedded permanently in this finish with the resin. So I'm saying so far I don't know what's going on over here again, but this definitely looks like a disaster. So it's going to look really bad. I'm not sure which is worse, the way this countertop used to look or the way it's going to end up now. I think the only positive is it's going to be just solid white rather than this hideous dated look it had before. Okay, so it's been 4 days now. This was the product used. There's a 2-step process. I don't know where the other can is. Anyway, because this bathroom is used a lot, I wasn't able to isolate it, so there is definitely plenty of bits of dust and hairs and cat hairs embedded in the finish. And then this is the worst of it over here, where there was some kind of, I don't know what. It's almost like this oil residue, but anyway, there's a bunch of stuff here which I think doesn't really come off. So it looks pretty bad. And then of course the sink being contoured, you can see the way that came out. So all in all, I mean, we'll see how it holds up over time, but it definitely is not smooth. Definitely you can see the brush strokes, and this is a 2-layer, 2 coats I should say of each. Actually 2 coats of the first step and 1 coat, because there was actually just not enough in there to do more than 1 coat except for just the bowl part. Step 2, the bowl part here had 2 coats. But yeah, I personally couldn't recommend this. Perhaps the product was old. That had anything to do with it, but other than that, I would say I would never use this product again. So Resinize gets a big thumbs down for me.